All right, welcome back to Two Idiots Doing a Sports Podcast. I'm Daniel, Nate on the other side. We are still on a quest to prove that we know more ball than the average ESPN analyst. And I think we figured out one thing that we predicted beforehand, before the trade deadline, and it actually came true. So ESPN, call us up and we will turn it down. That thing that we predicted was Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen would both be moved, that one of them would stay and one of them would go. Obviously, now post deadline, we do know that Gallen is still a Diamondback and Kelly did get shipped to the Rangers. So, look at us. We knew what we
From
were talking about.
Baltimore. Well, there's one thing that I mentioned last week that aged very poorly,
That
but
is
not
true.
in the
That is true.
way that I could have expected, which was we'll bring up later. Rashawn Slater out for the year. I still think it's a great contract, just a
Yeah.
very unfortunate accident. Chargers fans, I might have jinxed your organization. I will keep a close eye on that, Ethan, even though you work for the Texans. Uh, but yeah, my bad. So hopefully he gets better. But
Yeah, so the guy we're going to dunk on this week actually doesn't work for ESPN, and that's probably because they would have fired him already. It's Colin Coward. He made once again another stunning take that I feel like at this point he's just saying things to rile people up and get the clicks on social media. He said that the Dallas Cowboys are only going to win 2 games this year because their head coach Schottenheimer wore his visor backwards during a press conference. So we decided to look up the Cowboys' schedule just to, kind of see what if that would be true, what that would look like, and what the season could look like. Within probably the first month and a half, the Cowboys will have more than 2 wins. They start off pretty tough with the Eagles on opening night or opening Sunday night, and then they play the Giants, which should be a win. Then they play Chicago, which also should be a win, and then they play with the Commanders.
yeah, you said
Yeah,
Commanders, and then you
yeah,
mentioned the Jets and
yep.
Panthers.
And then the Jets and Panthers after that. That should be 4 wins. Wherever you want to put those 4 wins up, you can. And then looking at the rest of the schedule, we said realistically this team could go 10-7.
Mm.
There's upside if players play well. Dak being one of them. Dak stays healthy. There could be some upside there. But regardless, the Cowboys are not just a 2-win team, and you shouldn't judge a coach by how they present themselves. Apparently, a lot of the Cowboys are saying he's one of the most knowledgeable guys that they've ever been around. So we'll see when the season comes around. But the hat is absolutely wild.
Yeah, Bill Belichick wore hoodies in September. I'm just saying. So if you judge the guy based on that, then you got poor taste, I guess, Colin. So, but what do I know? I'm just some guy in my room doing a podcast.
Yeah, so we're going to cover a couple things today. It's been a little bit of a light week um, regarding just sports in general. So we're going to cover some sports that we normally don't cover or pay a lot of attention to. The NBA and WNBA being one of those. We're finally going to talk about the shirts that the WNBA players wore when the All Star game happened. Um, Talk about a couple of extensions from head coaches and some players. And then we'll hop to the NFL, talk about the NFL. A couple of trade requests that have gone through for some of the bigger players on these teams. And like Nate mentioned, we're talking about Rashawn Slater and his injury. Then we'll hop into the MLB like we normally do. Go through a little bit of those things. Talk about our fantasy teams a little bit. A couple big deals again happened this week or last week, week and a half. So, and then we're gonna go back to doing our NBA likable and least likable, which is starting to get hard because There's teams
So
on the board
it's been
that
hard since the first team, to be fair.
that
Lot
yeah,
of poverty teams in the NBA.
poverty teams and teams who are like, I don't really care if they win a
Seriously.
championship. That's cool. That'd be cool for that
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah, for real.
And so now
Not
we're
not a lot like that amongst the other sports for sure.
yeah, now we're just in this moment of like, okay, well, who's struggled the most?
Right? And there's a lot of that.
And
There's a
there's a
lot of
lot.
that.
Yeah.
So what happens when a sport? I know it hasn't been dominated recently by the same team, but it historically has been a sport that's just been so dominated by the same three or four. So that's a big reason why. But yeah, I think if you're ready, we can jump right in. I had an announcements section in case if we ever had announcements, and we do have announcements. So next week, I will be visiting Daniel in Kansas City. Exciting stuff. Going to a Royals game, and we'll record one together live. So next episode, we'll be in the same place. And then figured we would I'd keep mentioning I want to do an NFL tournament, one of those high school football tournaments. I plan on at least maybe having us go over the teams we draft next week and then actually run through the tournament maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the road. So we will discuss what we want to do with that, but it's been a hot minute. The last time we did it, it was hilarious, and definitely want to find some more wild high school names, and then just
Yeah.
watch them get clobbered by like freaking Plano or something like that. Just get waxed by a powerhouse Texas high school football team. So we'll mess around with that, but first things first, we are going to jump into Immaculate Grid as we always do. So I don't remember who picked last time. Um, hmm. I'll pick, I guess. I think you picked last week. I could be totally mistaken.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Let's go 555. Seems like a great number, chat. So, okay.
Okay.
A lot of teams here. So, rows are Giants, Reds, and Mets. Columns are Phillies, Astros in 200 strikeout season. Just wait, stop it. Hang on. This one's going to be low, I think. 1%
Nice.
Justin Verlander. We're taking advantage of it being an earlier grid. Love to see it, chat. 200 strikeout season, Tim Lincecum. First name that comes to mind. Giants, Phillies. I
I
don't really
mean,
know what I want to
if
go around here.
did Matt Cain ever do it? I think it was Matt Cain was his name.
I don't know if he was a high strikeout guy or not. I
I
always
don't remember
forget.
either.
Um, it could be the more. I say we come back to that. I kind of want to see how we do on the others.
Okay, for
The
the Houston, New York Mets, it's my guy Phil Maton.
Yes, sir. Let's go. 1%. Well, actually, 1.0% versus Verlander's just flat 1%. Um, I don't know which one
I'm
technically is
surprised.
lower, but I would
Interesting.
guess Maton's is. Um, so Reds, Astros. That one could be tough. And Phillies. Oof. Scott Rowland ever play for the Phillies? I don't think he did. Jim Tom? No. Jonathan Papelbon ever play for the Reds? I don't think so. Jeremy Giambi. A lot of random names coming up in my head right
The
now. But
Reds Astro one didn't have Miley played for the Reds, right?
yeah, he did.
Before I'm say before he went to Astros.
Yeah, he played for both.
Okay.
He definitely played for both. And I'm almost positive he was before. He's the guy that ran out the Astros, right? Or who am I thinking of? No, it wasn't Wade Miley. Who was it?
No, that was Fires, Mike Fires or
Fires,
something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. convenient, by the way. I'm still, oh yeah, I ratted him out, but you conveniently waited till when you won to say something. I'm
Fair.
just saying. I'm just saying. But neither here nor there. He's not the topic of conversation right now. We're just trying to lock in. Mets two. I mean,
Ooh,
Mets two. Ooh, actually, did they go
I
him?
could have gave you another one for Mets Astros. Ryan Stanek was another one.
Oh, that would have been even lower.
Yeah,
That's okay though,
that's fair.
because I don't think Maton would fill in anywhere else here. So,
I don't think so.
um,
Reds, Phillies. There's Castellanos, obviously, but that's going to probably be the highest.
I feel like we kind of, sort of should. Did Kenny Lofton play for the Giants? I think he did, but I can't be 100% certain. I know he played for the Phillies. He played for the Phillies like late in his career. If we're not positive, I'll wait.
No, no, no.
Oh,
Mike Lorenzen. Michael Loren, or
for Phillies Giants?
yeah,
Yeah.
the. I mean, he was a Ranger last year, and we got him. No, 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 not for Giants. Sorry,
Oh,
for the Reds.
for the Reds. That's a big rep.
That's on me.
That's okay. Well, we'll just say if Kenny Lofton is here, we'll count it as 9 for 9. It just will make it a little harder for me to determine. We'll just pretend Kenny Lofton was the guess for that spot. He did. Look at that. All right, so we're gonna count that. We'll count. Oh wait, did he not play for the Phillies? Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Um,
Um.
the
So
Mets,
pretend Kenny Lofton is here, chat, under Phillies Giants.
the Mets, Phillies. Taiwan Walker played for the Mets
That's true. Good call out.
before he
Okay.
came over, and
Yeah, you're cooking right now. Okay. All right, so we're 6 for 6, even though the graphic says 5 for 6. Did Matt Harvey hit 200 Ks? I mean, we could also probably
oh,
go Tom Seaver. Probably, I imagine Seaver did it.
I mean, did Pedro Martinez do it with him?
I didn't think it was great with the Mets. I could be
Okay,
mistaken.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I thought he had injury issues with the Mets. I could be wrong about that. That might have also been when he was with the Phillies. That probably was more with when he went to the Phillies, but yeah, strikeouts. I'm just being more hesitant on because we're trying to get obscurity. Reds. I'm saying we save Reds for last.
Do you
That
think
one's
for the Mets? Do you think R.A. Dickey ever did it?
no. He's a knuckleballer. He's not gonna get. Well, I don't know. Knuckleball's hard to hit, but he's also not throwing it hard. So I feel like no. I thought
Okay,
he was more of a pitch to contact with
I don't
his
know.
knuckleball, but I see. I'm just scared to guess any
I
because
mean,
I want
our
to. Yeah,
the obvious ones: Degrom,
yeah.
Syndergaard,
We could do
uh,
Syndergaard. Degrom will probably be higher.
Johan probably did it because he
Let's do
had a
Saint.
nasty changeup.
Actually, let's do Johan. I don't think we've done Johan yet, and it's only 7%, so
Nice.
solid. Degrom's definitely the highest,
Oh, 100%.
100% because of recency bias.
Syndergaard's probably the next highest one.
I was debating Matt Harvey in his 1 year, like his short stint as the Dark Knight, but I don't know if he was even in those years was whether or not he was healthy enough to get to that mark.
I don't know. I feel like he um, was just injured too much. I don't think he would have been able.
I knew there was a short stint where he was so dominant. I thought he pitched most of the season in those years. I could be mistaken. I didn't. I wasn't gonna do it because there's just too much uncertainty with it. We could do
Yeah.
Matt Cain. I just
Uh,
something
I
tells me he's
mean,
not
we
on
still
there.
have like
But
Rod.
one
You
second.
still have Rodon.
What about? Oh no, Randy was with
Bumgarner.
the Giants late. Wait a minute, let's do Bumgarner. We haven't shouted him out yet. And if he's the highest, I'm fine with it. We haven't mentioned his name before in any of these, so
I feel like
yeah,
Lincecum would
he
be the
might be.
highest.
Lincecum, in my opinion, would be the highest. Reds. So we're eight
Or
for eight right
has
now. Chat.
Logan Webb.
Ignore the fact that it says 7 for 8. Um, he might have. There's a good chance he did. In this era, yeah, you could definitely guess. I'd be more comfortable guessing more recent pitchers because of how often guys are striking out now. It's a lot easier to
Yeah.
get 200 Ks in this era than it was 15
Oh,
years ago.
100%.
So yeah, Logan Webb had to have. Reds. So this is
I
the
think
one
he
that's going to be
actually.
hard.
I think he
Do
did
you
it
think
last.
Bronson or
Uh,
I imagine he did it last year.
oh.
If he pitched a full season, there's a good chance he did it.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
I already typed in Bumgarner, so
No, that's. I mean, that's
yeah,
what that was my guess.
we can look here in a second. But
For the Reds,
Reds, I want to
you
guess
have
Arroyo so bad, but I
Cueto,
just Johnny Cueto. Oh,
Sonny
we haven't
Gray.
mentioned Johnny Cueto.
Um, hold on.
Let's do. Hold on, wait.
Is Luis Castillo is a guy that
Oh gosh,
people don't remember playing as a Red before the
I'm
Mariners.
sorry. There are 3 Luis Castillos.
I'm
Look at
pretty sure
this.
it's.
Look at this. Look at this. It's not
Oh man.
fair. It is the 2017 to 25 one. He's been in the
Yeah, I'm
MLB for
pretty
a few
sure.
years. I know.
I
Yeah.
think the
I
22 one is the one the Mariners recently brought up.
yeah. I'll go with Castillo. 7%. All right, so our rarity score is
People,
140. If you threw in Kenny Lofton, we're probably close to at least 100. I'm gonna
I
take
don't
a
remember.
screenshot of this and do this on my phone later and see what score we get, and I'll bring it up next week. I'm just curious what our actual score would have been.
I'm so
But we were 9 for 9, chat.
I didn't remember Pence playing for the Phillies.
Yeah, I did. I was staying away from him. He's more. It's a little surprising he's the highest
Yeah.
because he's more known for Astros Giants.
Oh, that's where I remembered him.
Um,
I forgot he played.
okay, glad you
But
cut me off at Cueto. Dwight Gooden. We did not have a highest for any, so that's also nice. I forgot he played for the Phillies. Pete Rose. Um, I was gonna look really quick at Giants. Giants 200 strikeouts. Rodon, Kevin Gosman,
oh, Gosman.
Samardzija. I always forget about Samardzija.
Mm,
Jonathan
I do too.
Sanchez, Jason Schmidt, Gaylord Perry, Juan Murray Cole. I apologize for botching that. Sam Jones, Christy Mathewson. Did Logan Webb not do it?
How many did he have last year? Then I'm gonna look
No,
it
he
up.
didn't.
Wow.
This is an order of most recent. But Matt Cain did not do it. I did not think he pitched to strike out a lot.
Okay. I
I
was.
figured.
I didn't think so either, but it was more of a did he kind of one.
Yeah,
Second guessing
for
your
sure.
your thought.
I'm also really curious, really fast. Did Bronson Arroyo do it? I was debating this for the Reds. I don't think he did either. Aaron Harang, that's a name I need to remember. Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm glad we
so
didn't guess Arroyo.
Webb had 172 last year, but
Dang,
in 23 he had 194.
he was close.
He was close, but
I think he'll hit that mark soon.
he's
I
currently
think
at
he.
165 this year.
There's only 13 for the Mets. I'm just curious now. Senga, let's
I didn't realize
go.
Stingo got it already.
All right, 23. You did in
Hmm.
23. DeGrom, of course.
Yeah.
Syndergaard, DeGrom, Syndergaard. Dickey did do it. All right. See, knuckleballers get tricky.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I figured that you probably struck out more often than not because that's kind of the whole stick with it. But you're not throwing it very hard,
No,
so
you
I
aren't.
would thought guys might put the ball in play a little bit more. They're just not hitting home runs off it. And then Tom Seaver was on there like 15 times.
I mean,
Ironically, Seaver wasn't number one here. It was
which is kind of odd to me.
That's odd to me too. It was Dwight Gooden. Dwight,
Uh,
not to disrespect Gooden, he's a Mets legend for sure. But I would have thought Seaver's more well known. But
Seaver and
uh,
Degrom. Degrom had that immaculate year where he won Cy
yeah,
Young
dude, yeah.
and
I thought
was
recency
striking
bias would
out
have put
left
him
and
over
right.
that.
Yeah.
But we'll take the Johan poll. So let's go. Um, so we're moving over to MLB Pickle, and of course, I mean, until it's Cal Raleigh, I'm not gonna stop glazing my Pookie Bear. He did hit another home run today. He did potentially help us figure out what division. So it's either NL West or the AL. So, I'll let you guess next. Who are you
Do
locking
Matt
in here?
Chapman,
Matt Chapman.
the guy who was recently traded off my team.
That's true. We do have a lot of deadline deals to talk about in there. So he's an AL player. I'm gonna go Jaron Duran. Well, actually, hang on. I should pay attention to. He's not American. Okay. So we should pay attention to that. So
That's fair.
can't guess Jaron Duran.
Is Duran
Um,
American?
I thought he was. Yeah, Jaron Duran's
Okay.
American.
I know
It's
he played
Johan
for
Duran.
Team Mexico, so that means none of his parents are.
You know what? We'll go with a different Duran. Oh wait, no, nope, nope, nope. We already guessed AL West. Uh, yeah, that could have been bad.
Do a pitcher, Lopez. I don't
Yeah,
think
we could
he's
do
American.
Pablo Lopez.
Oh, he hits lefty. Interesting.
It is El Central, and he
Oh,
is Venezuelan. Not twins, though. Oh,
Salvador. Nope, nope, nope. It's not because it's not a catcher.
he's Cuban. Shoot.
It's not his
Pray that it's not the White Sox. Pray. It's not a starting pitcher.
What nationality is Miguel Vargas? I think it's A. Okay, he's
Cuban.
Cuban.
Ah, he's Venezuelan. Shoot. He also bats righty. Gosh. Oh wait, no. That would yeah. He should bat and throw righty. That's correct. But he's not Venezuelan. I'm just drawing a blank on the teams in
What
that
is
division.
Arias? He's the shortstop for
Can you spell that? Oh,
Gabriel.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be him. Venezuelan bats and throws right. Yeah, that's
Oh,
tough. He
well, he's
is
25.
25 though. Oh, don't be White Sox. Don't be White Sox. It might be a relief pitcher to be honest. It could. I'm thinking it might be outfield, but I just
So who are the teams
Twins,
left? We have the Royals.
Royals, White Sox, and Tigers.
What is Baez? No, Baez is Puerto Rican.
He's also way too old.
Yeah, fair. Who are the relievers? Beth isn't. Holcomb isn't. Who they give it to? No, Paddock isn't. Blue ball. I don't think it's
I don't think it's.
Tigers.
I don't think it's Tigers because I think in infield it can't be any of them, and I don't think it's any of their outfielders.
Oh, Wenzel Perez. How? What's his age? Okay, he's
25,
Dominican.
but
He's Dominican.
I'm gonna
Okay.
just say I'm gonna use this guess though to confirm it's not the Tigers. Yep. Okay. It also tells us he's not right field, and I think if it's outfield, it would have been lit up. I think. So we still need to. We still have a few guesses here. With it's White Sox. I guarantee you it is. You know what? I'm just gonna do it right now. I hate wasting a pick, but it's White Sox. I knew it. Gosh, I knew it. All right, so we had 3 guesses for White Sox. Are we cooked, chat? I think we are.
Um. So it can't be right field. Left field is Benintendi.
Brutal.
What does Sosa play?
Oh, you are a blessing in disguise, sir. That's him.
There
Oh
we
my
go.
gosh, you carried. You cooked.
Wow,
We got lucky.
that is a pull.
That was a pull.
Good job,
Shout out to
Pickle. That
Daniel.
was a good one.
That was a good one.
Is this
Um,
Bader?
no.
Oh,
Third base. And third base in the NL, Central or West, and their jersey
it's not,
numbers close to 2,
it's not
within
Chapman.
10. So it has to be higher than 2, I think.
It's
Oh,
not
I guess it could be
Machado.
1. Yeah, I had. Is Machado an
Who's
American? No.
no? I'm just walking through the NL West right now. Um, is Blaze Anderson here
Probably not.
or Alexander? That's who it is. Alexander.
I'll go with it. Oh my gosh, you got a lot of yellow. That's wild. So NL Central, they're counting him as a shortstop too. So he's either 24, 25, 27, or 28.
Okay, so it's not NL
In the
West.
is it a? Are they going Matt Shaw here?
That's what I'm thinking.
No, it's
Huh?
not a Cub.
Who's the third baseman? Arenado. Never mind.
Not Arenado.
It's not Arenado.
Might be Brewers. Um, it's not Terang. It's not Bryce. Crap. I just saw his name today too.
Isn't it Ortiz?
For Brewers, I think so. So then
But that's probably yeah, it's Joey
probably not
Ortiz.
American. I
Um,
could guess Joey Ortiz, but no.
no,
Reds.
that would be Brian Hayes.
We can do Brian Hayes. Just see. Yep. Nice. Wait, 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 wait. Hang on. Hang on. Is this fake news? What team does it say? Okay, it says Reds. All right. The clip was as a
Oh,
Pirate.
I forgot that he changed his number. It's not 13 anymore. It's 3.
3.
Hmm.
Somebody stole his jersey number, I guess. Unbelievable. The audacity. All right, chat. Well, before we get into our 9 through 12 for NBA, we got randomized championship to do. Will today be the day for WNBA? Let's find out. Um, looking like NHL. Whoa, we might only do one today. It might be something relatively reasonable. And it's sad. I think it's 1926 is what I said.
For the first Stanley Cup.
First, like, official NHL affiliated, I believe. First
Yeah,
official.
27 is what it says.
It says 27? Okay.
Or the year was 27. It was the 26-27 season.
Okay. Um, so far, Daniel and I are. We only have two. No, no, we have three. You and I have been cooking in this one. We had 96, 2025. So yeah, both of us are 8 for 9. Um, so let's see what year we're gonna get. I pray it's please be 1980, chat, because I know the cup winner. I know the cup winner from in 1980 to 84. I skip a year or two, and then the end of the 80s, pretty much. I know who wins that too. So let me lock in. And just to explain to everybody, per usual, we're going off the year when the cup happened, not when the season started. So for 2025, as an example, I gotta stop using them as an example because it was the same cup year, back-to-back years. But the Panthers beat the Oilers in 2025. The season started in 2024. We're going off that 2025 number. And so, yeah, now if we land in 2025, we're going to re-randomize. Same sport, just re-randomize the year because we've already done that one. 1976. Oh, we're so blessed, chat. I am. Wait, hang on. Oh no, this might be the one year. I needed it to be early or late 70s because it's Montreal, 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 Philly, Philly, Montreal, Montreal, Montreal. I don't remember though. I know the Flyers win 74, 75, but is that their repeat year? Oh my! Ignore everybody else, Daniel. It's 50-50. It's Montreal or Philly that wins the Stanley Cup. Now, who they face, I'm not sure. Um,
But one of
I
them
could
were in
I can't tell you. I can tell you one team that wasn't in it: the Blackhawks.
it.
They were awful back then. So I can tell you the Sharks weren't in it, but they also didn't exist. Uh, so let me just copy this. This is being annoying. Oh, there we go.
I can tell you, the Stars weren't in it.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's do this, Nate.
I can
And
also tell you, Vegas wasn't there,
that's that. Nice job. Wait a minute. You know what? Screw it. I
and
also throw
Seattle.
out Seattle wasn't out there. The Minnesota Wild and Columbus Blue Jackets were not, in fact, in the Stanley Cup Finals.
What about
Nashville
Tampa?
Predators. Oh, that's a tough one, chat. Considering they would have been in the same conference as Montreal or Florida, Philadelphia. Oh, I'm gonna be so mad at myself. I think it's Philly. No, I'm going Montreal. I think. Ah! Why couldn't it have been 77? Or like 73. I know for sure Montreal wins those. It might be Philly. I know Montreal won 77. It's considered one of the greatest NHL teams of all time. 77 and 78. Well, let me think of the team who Philly or Montreal beats. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to just think of Western Conference teams that I can remember that existed. It's like Oilers. Um, who did exist back then? Actually, Vancouver did. I don't think it was Vancouver. Chicago, St. Louis would have existed around this time, but I think they fell off. They made the Cup final like 2 or 3 years in a row to start their existence, and then just crap the bed. That's not entirely totally accurate, but
De- Detroit existed.
Detroit did exist, and they were Western Conference. They were Western Conference in this time. Um, going around the map. I think the Atlanta. I think the Flames. Were the Flames in Atlanta around this time?
I don't know.
Colorado Rockies. Colorado Rockies wouldn't have been in this. I actually think this is when Cleveland had a team right around this era. They were garbage. I know it wasn't the Cleveland Barons, chat. The most boring jerseys of all time. Don't at me. Uh, the Kings could be the Kings. Um, this is hard. I'm 90% certain I'm not getting this team right. The problem is, I can either go over 3 or 2 for 3, and that's why I'm so nervous. I don't want to go over 3. I could also just do something safe and just say Montreal beats Philly like a moron, but I'm not going to allow that because I know for a fact they're both in the same conference, so I'm not allowing that. Do you have any guesses? Any idea for who lost?
For who lost?
Yeah, this
I'm
is
trying to just think of
this is
teams that would be the West because a lot of them aren't around at this time.
Oilers is probably a solid guess. Kings is
Yeah,
probably a solid guess.
Detroit.
Detroit's a fair guess.
I mean
What?
Chicago's, but not during this
I
time.
guarantee you, Chicago wasn't in it.
Well, I just mean like I'm just thinking
Yeah,
of West Coast
yeah.
teams.
It could also be a team that was in the East, that moved to the East, that was currently in the West, minus Detroit, obviously. I mean, well, besides Detroit, I should say. I'll go. I'll go with the Kings, I guess.
Who are you having winning?
I'm waiting until you decide who's your loser.
Who's my loser?
I can't make up my mind. I just can't.
You said Kings.
Yeah,
Okay, then I will.
I think
I'll do Detroit.
I'm going Detroit. That's probably a fair guess. That's probably a fair guess. Oh man. It chose the one. I know Philadelphia. I'm going Canadians. I'm going Canadians. I think Philadelphia won 73-74 and 74-75. They repeated. I know Philly repeats. I know this for certain. I think their second cup was 74-75. I I think. But I can't guarantee it. I might be a year off. I might. But I know it's one of these two.
I'll
Nobody else.
I'll do the opposite.
They're going the Flyers.
I'll do the
Oh,
Flyers.
please. Oh my gosh. Dude. It's gonna be Philly. It's gonna be Philly, isn't it? It was Philly. I hate my life. It was Philly. Wait, 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 what? It was Montreal, Philly.
Oof.
No wonder why I was so combobulated. I literally even said I'm not gonna allow myself to do that. It was the freaking cup final.
That's funny.
I was right about who won, though. I was right about who won. I'll take that. I'll take that. So it's what I thought. It's what I thought. Philly won their first Stanley Cup in 73-74. But I do need to do some setting up on who was on what side, because clearly, apparently, was Philly and the. I'm just Googling this real quick. 1976 NHL standings. So Daniel was 1 for 3. I was 2 for 3. I'm gonna count. I'm giving Daniel an asterisk though, because if I was more confident, he would have also gone Montreal.
That's
Um,
fine. I'll take the one.
but let's look at this. So the Flyers. Yeah. Okay. So the Flyers were in the West.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, they were in the Clarence Campbell conference, I should say. But actually, I don't know what would be considered the. Dude, I gotta start. I'm pretty sure Clarence Campbell. I'm pretty sure that's considered Western. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Yep. So they were considered now modern day Western Conference. The reason that's yeah, it's goofy, but all right. So let me write these down really quick so I don't forget. Canadians beat Flyers. I say so. I get 2 out of 3. Daniel gets 1 out of. Wait, yeah, you still get 1 out of 3 because you got the winner wrong, but you had a team in the cup. All right, so that was pretty entertaining, chat. That took a bit. So I think we're good with just the one this time. That one took some thinking. Next thing on the list, NBA likable, the most likable. I'll go through who we already have selected. I forgot to pull up any NBA standings. Rip. But I will do that in a second. But to go over who we have listed so far, we have done, and keep in mind if a couple sound odd, it's my fault. Daniel's gone pretty much textbook, and I've just kind of gone unhinged picks. But so Wizards first, Hornets second, Trailblazers third, Jazz four. That's a pretty decent consensus top four. Pelicans five, so that's where things get sketchy. Atlanta Hawks six, Kings seven, and then Magic eight. Um, so Daniel, you start us off here. Who you going for number 9?
Um,
It's gonna be tough.
yeah, this is where we get a little fishy. Let's see. Okay, they are. I took them last time. I feel like at this point, I'm gonna put the Pacers here.
That's fair.
I feel like for majority of it, there's not. I can't think of a guy that played for the Pacers that I've hated. I feel like they have a lot of pretty likable guys that come through their organization. They're a small Midwest team. Halliburton, especially the past couple years, has, in a
Been
sense,
electric to watch.
yeah, brought some sort of relevance to Indiana. Reggie Miller was fun to watch when he was with the Pacers. So I feel like they've had solid squads, so they're not. I wouldn't say like bottom of the tier like the Wizards and them, but they still also haven't really been super successful to where a lot of people in the NBA dislike them.
Yeah, they play the underdog role really well. Only reason a team would hate them is because the Knicks, and that's because Indiana owns that poverty franchise rent free. So they just always find a way to beat the Knicks in the postseason. But when your only beef is a massive market sports team, I don't really count that as true hate because that's just if you get like cities like Charlotte hating you, that is where you should be dropped down the list. But if you're hated by New York and only New York, then unless if you're Boston again, but even then Boston wouldn't just be hated by New York. Then you just definitely deserve to be up towards the list. My number 10, it was stuck between these two, mostly because both teams have a player that is uh, either surrounded in controversy or this tends to be a bit of a loudmouth, but overall the franchises as a whole have just found very little success, and this one has actually even moved. I'm going the Memphis Grizzlies here. I know Ja Morant is not exactly a great role model, to say the least. But I mean, when you just think about basketball, they're pretty forgettable. They're more often than not underperforming. They've been doing better with Ja when he's on the court, or I guess technically statistics when he played that last full year, they were better without him. I know that's a thing, but overall, I mean, the Grizzlies are winning more games than losing when Ja plays. Um, but overall, it's just a franchise that's found very little success. Zach Randolph was a lot of fun to watch. Um, Rudy Gay too, I believe he was out there for a little bit. Marc Gasol,
Mike
one Western
Conley.
Conference final. Yeah, Mike Conley, one Western Conference Finals appearance in the franchise history, I believe. maybe two. I know they had one several years ago, but overall, just a team that's not winning a lot, or if they are, people are just overlooking them. So that's why I'm putting them at 10.
Yeah, the team I'm gonna put next, I feel like maybe I've dropped a little bit too far. But I'm gonna put the Nets here.
Whoa, whoa!
Oh, really?
It's a New York team.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't gonna have them fall to like that much further, but there are a couple teams that just because they're not New York, they're gonna be above Brooklyn. But I mean, I get where you're going with.
yeah.
I'll hear you out, and you put it there, so
I just feel like they've been very bottom of the
they
league.
they've gone through some crap. The Kevin Garnett trade really messed them up.
Yeah, their management for the team hasn't been great. You drafted your savior Ben Simmons. Also didn't work out the way you wanted.
Philly drafted
No, you're
him,
right. You're
but
right.
they
Oh,
traded
you
for him.
traded for him, so that's another trade that didn't work out for you, and you
No,
traded an arm and a leg for him. Management just hasn't learned yet. They've changed their logo like 40 times, and it gets worse every time they change it.
that's so true.
It's just a horrible run organization. I feel bad for fans if they even have any left. Um, Kyrie left you. A number of players that you've had
Yeah.
left you. Ben Simmons has now since left. Garnett said see ya. There's just not a lot of guys that stick around to play in Brooklyn because it's just I feel like a horribly run organization, and I feel bad for the fans. And I understand other teams may hate them, but I feel like at this point, if you hate them, then you're just it doesn't make sense.
Well, they drafted 4 point guards, and none of them were Yakachonis, despite the fact he was one of the highly rated guards in the draft. So I do have a beef with the Nets right now, but no bias. The reason why I would have had him dropped a little bit, I mean, they're still recent enough to hate on the teams with Durant, Harden, Kyrie. When they were together, I know they didn't play a lot, but when they did, they were not a fan favorite amongst the league. They weren't the most hated, but people individually hated KD. People hated Harden. A lot of people had issues with Kyrie. And so I figured with a couple other teams that we had, I figured that would push them down a bit. But I do also understand where you're coming from because this organization has made so many terrible moves from a fan base perspective. They've gone through crap. But also, one of their biggest fans is Jay-Z, who may have gone to Diddy parties. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The Nets are a very interesting team here. That being said, I picked the Atlanta Hawks at 6, so I have no reason to judge. They're probably a team that shouldn't have gone that high, but 28-3. That was my reasoning. The next team I was gonna go with, capping it off, I'm going Minnesota Timberwolves. I know they've had recent success, and I also know they have two players. I said one, but two players that people aren't like super fond of. You either love or hate Anthony Edwards in the same way with Kevin Garnett. Um, that I know not a ton of people are a big fan of Garnett just because he talked a loud game and was just play this intimidation style of basketball. And Anthony Edwards is kind of a cocky tool, but he has the right to be cocky because he's now led a poverty team to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. The reason I'm putting him here is just again prior to this franchise is completely irrelevant without those two guys. Completely irrelevant. They are such a bad run organization. I debate they're I debate they're more poorly run than anybody in the top three, to be honest. It's crazy to say, but I think they just happen to luck into two guys that are just so good. They just elevate their organization to a level that otherwise shouldn't be there. And I know also they had Cat too, so before y'all get on me about that, but it's just a this organization is a disaster. They are figuring it out, so they're probably teams that should have been here maybe, but I think The fact that they've been so bad for so long prior to KG and post KG before Anthony Edwards, I felt like they were sliding a little bit. So I had to put them here. That being said, there were a couple other teams that had my eye. And I think one of them's going to be listed next. I have to imagine. Um, but we'll see when we get there. So to sum it off, again, probably a little spicy, but NBA is harder to rank. Sorry, guys. In y'all's defense, there's probably 20 likable teams where the NFL there is not. So the
Sure.
Pacers at 9, Grizzlies 10, Nets 11, Timberwolves 12. So, all right. So we're through the bulk of our stuff. I might come back to the ESPN thing last. That's kind of lame. Let's go to NBA first, since we're already sort of on the topic. A couple contract extensions. Um, so we'll just go with the coaches extensions first because I have those in order there. Billy Donovan. I did we talk? No, I might talk about this in another one. Billy Donovan somehow getting an extension with the Bulls despite riding the coattails of the rings he won at Florida. I don't know if there's been an organization there hasn't been a guy that's ridden a championship more for his resume ever in basketball than Billy Donovan, minus Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is number one. And Paul Pierce, too. You can tell him Paul Pierce. I know he's not a coach, but no doubt Paul Pierce has ridden '08 through the ends of the earth, acting like they're the greatest sports team to ever exist. But, yeah, I'm baffled here because if there were just not guys you didn't like, you didn't have to extend him. You could have maybe, done a 1 year extension and try to buy yourself time. Tom Thibodeau is also available. I know you kind of get a little beef with him ruining Derrick Rose, maybe, but he's better than Billy freaking Donovan. And I know Billy hasn't been given a good roster to work with, but he has not worked out in the NBA, and it is baffling to me that he got extended. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think maybe you think it's a genius move? Probably not, because I like to think you know ball. But let's see what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't understand this. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Billy Donovan hasn't been successful anywhere he's gone in the NBA, especially even in Chicago. Granted, Chicago probably hasn't been set up with the most success, but all of that to say,
He's not helping.
there's no growth. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're an organization that's struggling and you know that you're going to struggle, you still want to see growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. They keep getting their coattails beat up by the Miami Heat in the play-in Mickey Mouse playoff tournament. So when you can't even get out of a Mickey Mouse playoff bracket, I think you should can your guy. Should also just blow the roster up. Like, Vucevic should go. Um, I mean, White probably should go. You should probably blow it up and just start over. Because right now you're in Midville. Um, and it's going to be like that for a long time. But an extension on the opposite side of the spectrum, Joe Mazzulla. I did not see details on this one. The Billy Donovan one, there were details. I was just too lazy to find it because he's just that bad. But Joe Mazzulla getting an extension with Boston. It's a move I like better. He does have issues with adjustments. It's a big concern with him, but he is, this is third year, maybe fourth year, going to be coaching. He's only 37 and has a ring on his resume, and I believe a second Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Of course, opposite situation is Billy Donovan. Billy's given crap. Joe Mazzulla was given the keys to the freaking city. I mean, he was given Tatum, Brown, Porzingis. I mean, Brad Stevens is just an absolute wizard. So Joe was given a much easier roster to work with. Fact of the matter is, he has 260 wins on his resume regardless. Still got to get the job done. I like this move for Boston. He's young, and I think he'll continue to grow and develop into a better coach. I think this year is a good test for him. No Tatum, Porzingis gone. Drew Holiday gone. If he could still win 45 plus games, I think that's a testament that he's a solid coach, and I think it's doable because the Eastern Conference is garbage. But they did lose quite a few guys. But again, what do you think about this extension? This one could be a little bit more debatable for sure. But
Yeah, no, I like this one too. I feel like this is a good move for Boston on their side of things. They're getting, in my opinion, their guy. Um, yeah, he was given the keys to the city, but even Jason Kidd was given the keys of the city
true.
to the Mavs and hasn't been able to be successful with it. So yeah, you can be given you can be given it, but you have to also be able to coach to be able to be successful and get your team there. He's young, so Boston locking him up, I feel like, is a good thing for them. Yeah, we'll get to see what he's made of this year without Tatum and a couple of the other guys that you mentioned. Or maybe it's one of those years where Brad Stevens is kind of like, all right, we're going to reset this year and then maybe
Focus
go
next
all
year.
in again next year for it when you get Tatum back and
And
then
if
surround him again.
mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know what the real solution is here for, or what the Celtics are going for, or they just think they have enough talent to where they don't need those guys, which is very fair because Pritchard kind of showed that he can carry some of that, especially late in the year and in the playoffs. So maybe Brad Stevens said, "Well, we'd rather go younger with Pritchard than have Drew Holiday," which could could make sense.
Drew took a step back too this year. He was good defensively, but he was not as good as year one in Boston anyway. So I think this is a good move. And Simmons is theoretically he's not a good defender. That's the big concern with Anthony Simmons, but he's a good 20-point scorer a game. So
Yeah,
if people are worried about Boston scoring, you still got Brown has to stay healthy. If Brown goes down, then there's a problem. That is the difference with this team. Last year, they could lose three guys and be fine. Now, if you lose Jaylen Brown, trouble is going to start brewing because Derek White, Pritchard, and Simmons relying on 40 plus minutes ain't going to cut it. But you still have scoring options. People are acting like they can't score. They could definitely score. They just won't be a top tier team like they've been the last 2 years. But next two extensions, I'll go with the Mikal Bridges deal first. He got a 4 year, $150 million extension from the Knicks. This one was kind of perplexing to me because I had him in fantasy and he was very frustrating and did not seem like he had a great year one with the Knicks. He certainly wasn't as good this year as his last year in Brooklyn, but overall, he's still a stud. Um, and obviously clearly did well enough to help his team make the Eastern Conference Finals, help beat Boston for sure. And considering some of the even the next contract we're going to talk about, I feel like this is a steal. I give this a solid B plus. Um, hopefully year two he fits in better, gels better, and continues to get better in the New York system. But yeah, 150 billion for his services, not bad at all. Could have been I don't think that's a max deal, so could be mistaken. I also NBA gets weird with like bird rights and how extensions work, and a max contract for some guy could be 125 and another could be like 400. I just don't understand NBA extensions as much. So apologize if we say something like, bro, you don't know ball. So, but at least we're not Colin Coward. But how
yeah.
do you feel about this extension?
I feel like it's a little pricey. I feel like the Knicks are getting a good player, but I feel like 37 a year is a little pricey for a guy, in my opinion, that's not your number two guy. Because
That's fair.
Jalen Brunson is obviously your number one, and everyone knows that. You need another guy, especially in this NBA that we play in right now in the modern day. But I just feel like Bridges isn't that guy. Yes, he's probably a better all around player. He can play D. He can mostly play offense. I think last year was a little bit of a down year for him in that regard, but I just feel like it's a little too much for him, especially if you want to surround him and Brunson with a team that you feel like can go win it all. I just don't think with those two, you're like, now you guys are the favorite to win the East.
Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't make him any, you know, this move doesn't push him over the edge to win the finals, especially since it's the Knicks. So it just
True.
Knicks automatically kind of take them down a notch. They could have Giannis, Curry, Jokic, Luca, all on the same roster, and I'd still say not finals favorites. You're the Knicks. But yeah, we'll see how that one works out. Um, it's not as pricey as the De'Aaron Fox extension. He gets 4 years, and I believe it was 229 million. Let me find this really quick. Um, while I look it up, how do you feel about him getting an extension? Yeah, 229 million. How do you feel about his extension?
I'm going to say the same thing. I think it's way too much. I think De'Aaron Fox has been in a fortunate circumstance of bad situations wherever he goes. So I will say that. I also
Yeah.
do not think this is a good contract either. I think San Antonio once again is just trying to do something, and I just don't think this is it. Um, like I said, De'Aaron Fox when he was younger was electric. Was a guy that honestly a lot of people enjoyed watching. People probably still enjoy watching him. Um, I just feel like he's a little older. I guess he's only 27. He's not that old. But still, I feel like for a 27-year-old who hasn't really truly proven yourself that you can be successful, especially with the Spurs team that's in this weird, we want to rebuild, and also we have Wemby, so we need to kind of be relevant. And on top of that, you have Pop now not your coach anymore. So it's just there. It's just this weird situation down there. I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe lock him down so Wemby has someone with him and a consistent guy. I don't know, but I just feel like once again this is just an overpay, and I don't feel like you could have used some of that money to go out and get some other role players or other guys that could have helped you make the playoff.
Yeah, I feel that. This one's a lot pricier than the Bridges deal for me. Um, Giving him a supermax is a bit wild considering, but um, yeah, especially since you'll have to pay Wemby at some point here soon. He's eligible for an extension next year, I believe, or it might be this year. I don't remember. I think it's next year, but he's definitely a talented guard. He's a solid playmaker, decent scorer. He didn't seem like in the limited action. He seemed like he'd take a step back from what he was doing this year with Sacramento. But I mean that can happen. You know, he only played about 20-ish games with San Antonio, so it just takes time to develop chemistry, especially when Wemby was out. I think most, if not all, of that time he was in San Antonio with his shoulder issue. It's hard to kind of carry that load in an organization that's in rebuild mode. I trust this deal probably. I trust the Spurs know more what they're doing than the Knicks in a sense, just because Popovich is still got insight and we know what he is capable of. Um, I'd probably give it a C plus, maybe B minus. It just seems a little pricey. I do agree on that. But he's a good player, and he's hitting his prime. So a full year at San Antonio under Pops or whoever's system. I don't even know if he's coaching this year. I feel like he can bounce back, be the guy he is, and paired with Wemby could be a good team. So, and then don't forget that they get not Edgecombe, but that other rookie. So they're starting to slowly put together a nice team. Um, I will say that. I will say that. So, last but not least, this could be a little controversial, but we're finally bringing up the during the All Star game, the WNBA. All of them wore shirts saying "Pay us what you owe us." Obviously, since then there have been things happening on the court, things getting thrown on the court. Won't say what. We won't even get into that, but I'm curious how you feel about these shirts because how I feel is if you want to get paid what you owed, get ready to learn Billy's, buddy. You're gonna have to start paying the league right now. Obviously, all jokes aside, I mean they're slowly working their way. I don't know. It's just hard. Every time I want to watch them and justify that they're going to be more and more successful, they find a way to do something stupid. Whether it's Kelsey Plum saying something stupid about Caitlin Clark's camp not showing up, or Angel Reese somehow airballing a layup right in front of her face. Um, um, and maybe it's a marketing ploy. I don't know. But what do you think about these shirts, though? I mean, that was wild.
Yeah, I mean, if I've seen many videos about people's thoughts on this, and I'm along the same lines. Like, yes, I understand you aren't getting paid what the NBA players are getting paid, and if we're going to talk about how NBA players are getting paid, NBA players are getting less of a percentage than
Yeah,
you
the
are.
WNBA. Yeah.
You are getting a percentage that doesn't exist because your league is actually losing money. So therefore, you are actually, in a sense, getting more than NBA players, and NBA players should be asking for more money because they're actually profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're they wouldn't be a league if it wasn't for the NBA. The NBA
100%.
is the only reason
100%.
that they're still afloat. The NBA is willing to eat that $50 million deficit that the WNBA produces. I just looked it up and I was like, will they even be profitable this year? And it says most likely no.
Nope.
Even with all the record breaking attendances and everything with Paige Beckers, with Caitlin Clark, all of those, they still aren't going to make a profit because there's just, I don't think there's an audience for it, unfortunately, for them, because I think they're pretty talented, and you, in my opinion, guys just don't want to watch it because it's just not.
Sorry, a league established.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
there's other things for us to watch, even when the WNBA is going on. It's literally just the WNBA and MLB. People are still rather watching the MLB, even though it's the regular season. Um, it sucks, but there's no pull to the WNBA, which is unfortunate. And there's just nothing exciting to watch about it, especially if you are an NBA fan.
I think they could eventually get to the level of people, guys wanting to watch it. I think it's just going to take a lot of time, and the NBA has to be committed. The one thing to their credit, the NBA wasn't profitable for a very long time, albeit TVs weren't owned by everybody back in the day, but they were struggling for a long time. And I do believe, it wasn't just till recently ESPN got involved with the WNBA. I think they're partially to blame. They wouldn't show very many highlights of when the league first started, and they wouldn't show them period for a very long time. So slowly but surely, maybe they could start them they're inching their way out of the deficit they're in. But I think it's just going to come down to you guys got to get better at basketball. There's definitely some talented players, no doubt, and I think Caitlin Clark is. Um, Watching some of her highlights has been fun. Watching Paige play has been fun, um, but you just watch someone like Angel just completely beef a layup so embarrassingly bad. Or, I'll mention really quick. One of the dildos was thrown on the court. The score in the third quarter was 39-37, and the third quarter was almost over. I mean, you're professionals, and the score is 39-37. That is just inexcusable People, this is an era of people want to watch scoring happen. That's just the reality. If you're not scoring, people don't want to watch. And more often than not, in this league, scoring is not happening because they're either airballing, they're missing embarrassingly easy layups, they're making horrendous passes, or they're scoring on their own freaking basket. Not totally fair to throw that all on them. NBA has a mistake by one team every night. So the NBA does this crap too. It just the difference is the NBA has guys that can dunk. They're very skilled in what they do. They're the best in the world right now, and it's going to be tough to match. But I do hope that one day they could be better, and I think Caitlin will be. Caitlin and Paige for me are the step in the right direction. You want to see them playing the way they play. They won't be the best in the league ever, in my opinion, or if they will, not for very long, because hopefully they inspire other girls to want to play and get better than them. So we'll see what happens in 20 to 30 years. They're obviously going to need help, but as long as they're playing the way they are, NBA is the better alternative by far. And I already don't watch the NBA, so but
I will say
um,
there. So there was a softball league that started up again this year.
dude, that looks
I
hype.
think it's
That
called
looks hype.
Athletes Unlimited. I think is what it's
Yeah,
AUSL. I think AU means athletics or Athletics Unlimited Softball League, whatever it's called. But the AUSL was absolutely electric to watch this year, and it was their first year doing it. They were also backed by the MLB, which was helpful. And so, like, they would show it on MLB Network. So, like, you could literally, if you had MLB Network or if you had a subscription to MLB TV, you could watch the game. And I feel like that in itself also helped them because it was able to be watchable. Also, they didn't play, or they played most games in different places. I think I watched like 3 games, and they're in 3 different places. One was in Oklahoma, which is a
that's got to be
hotbed,
a cornerstone for your
a
league. That's
a
softball
hotbed,
heaven.
yeah,
That
a hotbed. They played in Alabama, which is another pretty
so they're
cornerstone.
marketing to the right
Yeah,
areas.
and then they played. There's one more that I forget exactly where, but like all of them were sold out. People they marketed to the right people, went to the right places to get those numbers and to get people watching it, and it was exciting. It was fun. The MLB, like I said, MLB app was also pushing, "Hey, the championship's on. Hey, this is
I
happening,"
missed it.
and like,
I want to watch this league, but I gotta get
and
into it
and
next year.
that's how you market
Yeah,
a new league and
yeah, for sure.
a new thing that's happening, and people were excited to watch it. I was excited to watch it.
I think what helps them is softball's just a different game. I know it's the same concept as baseball, but it's just different. Just pitching styles, just the way they play. You know, you're seeing a lot of girls just hit the ball like this instead of fully swinging through. It's sort of a bunt, it's sort of not. So it's just a different style of sport, and I think that will play largely into their favor. And I think when I watched several ACU softball games, I mean, we were terrible to our credit, but a lot more skilled. I just truly believe that. I believe when you watch softball, these girls are a lot better at what they do than girls playing basketball. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's just a less of a factor to embarrass yourself. Maybe I think it's just a tougher sport overall, and when you're able to play at a high level in a more difficult sport, it's going to be more appealable to watch. So I wish the MLB did do a little bit better at marketing it. I wanted to watch it. I just every time I pushed off or tried to get into it, I was either too late or just wasn't paying attention. But it's a league I'm very excited for, and I think softball's a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, and maybe they add a team or two next year. Who knows? The expansion might not be the best idea initially, but we'll see what their plans are for the league. So, but yeah, So that's our 2 cents on WNBA and that new softball league. So we will see what happens from there. We're going to jump really briefly into NFL preseason. Um, I'm going to pull up the Travion Henderson return really quickly, and then I'll go over to the 70-yard field goal. I want to pull that up too. Um, this is not owned by the NFL, and NFL don't copyright strike us. We know we don't own this, so don't throw a hissy fit. We're just showing a clip of a player doing a kick return. So I'm trying to see if I can full screen this. I should be able to. It's not great, but I didn't want to use the NFL official video and then them throw a fit. So for those that are listening, you probably can't watch it anyway. So, but just go look it up. Here you go, Daniel. So this is the running back we drafted out of the Ohio State. But look at that. Dude is freaking fast.
Sheesh.
According to Next Gen Stats, he was running at 21.04 miles an hour. He was hauling cheeks. This man's going to be a beast. He also had 3 catches in his preseason debut for about 12 yards, and then he had one carry, 18 yards. Very excited about this guy. He was electric in the very limited action they played, and despite all that, he was considered average by PFF standards. Literally don't know what more you could do. You were averaging only one carry, 18 yards. Nope, you're average. And had a freaking touchdown, but what do I know? So PFF, you're actually the loser team of the week. You're not a team, but that's just ridiculous. I don't know what more a man can do. In preseason anyway, to prove that they had an elite game because he had like probably 10 snaps, and he had a touchdown and multiple first downs. But whatever. I accidentally exited out of that, but the other thing was, I'll let you react to this. I'll let you discuss this one. Let me look at Jaguars 70-yard field goal. Now, unfortunately, chat, this is not a official NFL record because it is preseason. I think it's kind of stupid, but I also understand. So we'll. I gotta share my screen here so Daniel can. I'm sure you already seen it, but in case you haven't, it's Cam Little. So this is year 2 for Cam with the Jaguars organization, and just look at this. I mean, dude launches a missile, and he had room to spare.
Yeah, he has room.
He has room, which is wild.
That's insane.
Um. So first of all, how much further do you think he could have got? Because some people are saying he had another 8. I don't think he could have gotten
8.
that far. I thought 72, maybe 73.
I was gonna say 2 or 3 yards. It looks like he could successfully still drill that.
Maybe an extra 4 if he pulled a Justin Tucker. um, that it could be possible, but I'm sure the environment he was in certainly helps. But what are your thoughts? Really quick thoughts on that kick? That's nuts.
Yeah, no, that's insane. That's crazy. 70 yards is unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard of, and I can't believe we were saying it was unheard of when Tucker hit 66, and now these guys are just casually. We're seeing more and more kickers hit 57, 58 casually.
Yeah.
And so I gotta say, really quick, shout out to the USFL. It might not hold, or sorry, UFL, whatever they're called. They might not hold together as a league, but the one thing they've done well is developed kicking talent. It is inexcusable to have a bad kicker in the modern day NFL. I'm just saying right now, inexcusable. If everybody, you see so many guys hit 60 plus, if you got a bad kicker, I don't know what to tell you. So shout out to him. And people are saying he definitely bought his roster spot. He already had it. He was a kicker last year, chat. So, but still fair. It certainly didn't hurt his case to keep his spot.
Who knows? Maybe there's another guy in their camp.
And it's certainly possible. I know New England. We drafted the guy out of Miami, but we have I think his name's something Parker. He kicked for a few games for Minnesota last year, and he had a good year. But pretty presumably that we're going to use the Miami guy, but solid competition for him anyway. So it's hard to imagine why Jacksonville wouldn't have someone competing. But good for you, Cam Little. I'm gonna call it the Mickey Mouse record. It should be the record.
It should
I
be.
wouldn't usually consider records broken in preseason a record, but I feel like when you can kick it that far, it should count because that's ridiculous. And don't forget, we clowned on the Raiders like 10, 12, maybe 15 years ago when they had Janikowski attempt a 70-yarder, and now it's a reality. So
Yeah.
maybe one day we see a guy hit 80. We might have guys kicking out of the end zone at this. We're gonna be 60. We're gonna see guys out of their own end zone attempting a field goal.
Insane. Insane.
Oh man! But last thing for NFL, actually, we have the Rashawn Slater thing. RIP. Uh, that's tough. I know I said A+ grade. I'm still standing on that, by the way. It was just accidents happen, and that's just the reality of training camp and preseason. I think he got hurt during training camp, but it's tough. But he's still one of the best in the league at his position. So I'm not gonna, and maybe A+ might not age well, but he's still a beast. So get better soon, Slater. Get better. Um, I'm gonna let you dive into Micah Parsons here, or Rip.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. So Mike, as probably at this point we all know, Mike Parsons has requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys. There's rumors swirling of why he requested it when he did. Micah is saying that he was brought into Jerry Jones's office to talk contracts when his agent wasn't present, and that kind of flipped Mike Parsons to wanting a trade instead of working out a contract. Regardless of what happened in that meeting, Jerry Jones has messed up once again. Rather than signing your guy that literally would have done anything to stay a Cowboy, was willing to take a pay cut, was willing to take a back seat, whatever was needed for the team. He played multiple positions last year. He played linebacker sometimes, was a defensive end. You could put him on the right side, the left side. It didn't matter. He did whatever you asked him to. You want a guy like this in your organization, and Jerry Jones has now, in a sense, said, "I'm not going to give out that type of money anymore because one guy screwed that up for me, and the guy that you gave that money to probably shouldn't have gotten that money anyways. So really, it's your
Yeah.
fault that you spent that money on a guy that didn't deserve it when you won't spend the money on a guy that does deserve it." So
The debatably best defensive player in the NFL.
yeah, good for
Unbelievable.
you, Micah. Go get your
Yeah.
bag somewhere else. I don't know if this is a, a a tool to try and get a little bit more money out of Jerry Jones. At this point, I wouldn't want to play for him anyways. He's continued to show that he doesn't care about his players and doesn't care to pay them what they're worth, unless for some reason you're mediocre and he thinks you can take him to a Super Bowl. So maybe, Micah, you just need to be mediocre, and you would have gotten a bag because you
Yeah,
did a
just
little
have the worst year of your career, Micah. Or sorry, Michael Parsons.
bit.
Um,
It just
unbelievable. That's
doesn't
so
make sense.
disrespectful.
Uh,
Yeah.
this is a guy that was genuinely committed to you, and then you came out to say that I'm not giving you that type of money because another person screwed that up for you when you had no control over that.
Yeah, ridiculous. I like to point out he's favored to stay in Dallas, but you know who's favored to trade for him? New England. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No way they trade for him. Philadelphia was actually tied with New England in the betting odds. I was like,
Interesting.
no.
I don't think
Why
he'd
would
go to
that?
Philly.
Philadelphia would have to give up like Saquon and like 5 firsts for Dallas to do that. I know those teams have done deals in the past, but for something like this, no way. But I don't think he leaves personally. I think if he's gone, he leaves a free agency. He's just
Well, he won't leave a free
it's too
agency.
he's too hard.
They'll
one
franchise
will
tag
hit.
him.
That's true. That's true. I think the NFL should only allow one a player to be franchise tagged once by an
Yep,
organization. That's
he
just
can get
ridiculous.
it 3 times before he. So
Three is too many. It should be
The
one.
Cowboys technically still have control over him for 3 years if they
That's
want to use their franchise tag on him.
I guess it's a way around arbitration, I suppose, but still dumb. Um, well, Rip Micah, you can join us though. We have the bag for you. We could use a guy like you. But the other guy, I'll cover this one more since we're going a little long here. Unless if you have a quick thought on it. But Scary Terry. He's another guy that asked for a trade, and rightfully so. I think a little bit different situation. He is a little bit older. He is 30. Um, and he's a skill position player, so usually it's around the time where guys like him will start take decline. But regardless, he wants to get paid and hasn't been paid yet. I understand why Washington would be a bit more hesitant, especially since they brought in Debo, but Debo hasn't really been Debo for 2 years now. So personally, I think he's also going to stay. Um, Regardless of franchise tag situation or not, I think he actually does get the extension. I think he just wants a little bit more respect, and I think this organization, under new leadership, under Dan Snyder, he would be even more disrespected than Micah, in my opinion, because Dan Snyder was just a low life scumbag. But I think he stays in Washington. If not, I'd like to also point out New England is the favorite to trade for Terry McLaurin. So say that as you want. They won't trade for either, but if they're going to trade for one, Terry's probably the guy. Um, but we'll see what happens with that. Do you have any quick thoughts on that before we go to the MLB?
I just feel like it's another mistake by Washington.
For sure. Yeah, I think I think they're not. It's more understandable. He is older at his position. It is a bit more understandable. I wouldn't want to commit 4 or 5 years to a wide receiver, but at the same time, it's like he's been one of the most consistent guys at his position. So um, I feel like he deserves his bag. So all right, we're gonna go to MLB. Um, Fantasy updates. Uh, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Um, I don't have. Do you have yours up?
I do.
You can go first. I don't have mine up right
Yeah,
now.
let's just say my offense is just absolutely goaded with the sauce. As I texted you last night, my offense had 51 RBIs before today.
Sheesh.
Unbelievable. And yes, they did hit the 60 RBI mark. Unbelievable. I mean, my offense is definitely the best in the league, but this is the best week they've ever had. 19 home runs, 60 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. They were doing it all. 140 total bases. 100 friggin' 40. And 41 runs scored, which is pretty standard. That's like a really good number for anybody knowing in my league. So if you hit 40, you're usually winning it. But that was the one category I was kind of fighting to win. But um, yeah, you could double my opponent's run RBI count, and he still loses it.
Sheesh.
Double it, and he loses that category. Uh, I'm only going to lose quality starts, and it's just because a lot of my guys were just struggling with pitch count this week. But even then, ERA was 2.36, WHIP was under point 0.9. Pitching was great. I had 69 strikeouts and 53 innings pitched, so even though pitch count was high, I was getting a ton of strikeouts, which is what I've been struggling to get. So I'm gonna win 11-1. I had a fun week. My boys are locked in right now. They were mad about last week almost losing, so I've been tracking you a little bit because I had to set the line for the other squad. Seems like it's a tough battle for you.
Yeah, offense kind of went cold this week. I mean, both sides went cold, but I feel like the other side for pitching went colder than mine, which is kind of crazy, especially with what happened with mine. Yeah, my runs had a really good run count. I will say that 36.
Yep.
Still, am like the stolen base king with 7 on the week, so one a day at this point. My home runs and RBIs are insanely low, and my OPS is
Yeah, I did
also
see your home
crazy
runs were
low, which
brutal. Yeah.
isn't going to stay because the last probably month it's been a couple points higher than this. I've been sitting about the 800 OPS, so just a really rough week for my team. My pitchers, especially, went out and made a couple trades, and so far they have not worked out.
Uh-oh.
Stowers, I think at this point is like 0 for 10 with me.
Oh my
And then
gosh. No.
Priester went 4 1/3 today and had an ERA of 12.46. So yeah, not great. Also, I will give Littell some slack because this is the first time he has struggled since I picked him up. But he played Pittsburgh and went 4 2/3 and had a 7.71 ERA. So not a great week for my guys. But I will say on the upside, looks like Chris Sale is gonna come back soon, making a rehab start Tuesday. They're gonna see how he does there, and he may come back after that if they feel like he's ready. If they don't, he will get one more. The most he's gonna get in a minor league is 2, and then he'll be back. So either next this upcoming week or next week or the following week, I will get him back. So that's another solid arm for me coming back for the
Mhm.
playoffs. So I feel like once again my lineup will turn around. I have Acuna coming back soon. He's already rehabbing. So Churio, I think I'm gonna be without him
You've
for a little while, which is
you've had a
unfortunate.
rough injury luck. Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
I helped you out a little bit
yeah,
with that, and
yeah.
it still sounds like you're struggling with it. I
So
just
we're lineup will turn it around. It was just an off week. I feel like for them, especially 17 RBIs is absolutely insane. Um,
you could have. Hang on,
I
that's probably
probably
not true.
I
Yeah, you
probably
would in 17-34. You could have tripled your RBIs, and you would have lost
that's
me.
insane.
That's
I
disgusting.
I
We were
probably gone
opposite ends of the spectrum.
probably could have I probably personally could have gone to the MLB and hit more RBIs than my team.
I
It's
certainly couldn't
wild.
have. My boy, especially Saturday night. Saturday night, 14 RBIs. 14. The guys are locked in right now.
I think Seager
Uh,
got I think Seager got me 5 or 6 alone.
Good for Seager. Seager did have a
No,
good week. I did see that.
Seager balled out this
Seager was
week.
like, boys, lock in. And nobody else wanted to lock in. Whereas my team was like, boys, lock in. And everybody locked in. Um, so, yeah, really briefly, we should mention our trades. We did also pull off a three-way trade, technically. But my first trade, I really haven't had a lot of my guys debut yet for what I've gotten. Well, I've only really had one, but to go through this, I ended up giving up Casey Mize, Spencer Torkelson, Pete Fairbanks, Ranger Suarez, and Willie Adames. Gave up a pretty penny, but I got Christopher Sanchez out of Philly, Vlad Guerrero, and Jose Caballero. Caballero, I haven't even put in my lineup yet. He's really just going to be there if I want to try to fight for stolen bases. I put him in my utility spot. Clearly, that wasn't a problem for me this week, so I didn't need to use him. Sanchez got flipped right away. And you'll see in a minute. And Vlad was fantastic. I think he had 2 or 3 home runs for me this week, so shout out to Vlad. Um, I think he hadn't really been hitting home runs all the year this year, and then he came to my locker room, talked to him, gave him a little PDs, and I didn't say that. I gave him a buzzer too. Fastball Vlad, and he's been crushing it. So, but then a part of our three-way trade, I gave you Dave Peterson. You gave me Sorowski out of Milwaukee. So that's another part. He didn't debut for me yet because he's still on the IR. And then you end up flipping Peterson and Iglesias to get Chapman. And it seemed like Chapman did well for you at
Oh
least.
yeah, Chapman's done
A
well. Yeah.
couple saves, I think, 1 or 2, and he didn't allow a run from what I could tell. So he was locked in. He's just the rest of your boys weren't. But then going back to my Sanchez deal, I gave up Sanchez and Bieber to get Crochet. Um, I'm gonna keep my eye on that because I know Bieber hasn't pitched yet, and if he really doesn't turn out to something, I'll temporarily turn trades back on, and I will give my buddy additional assets to make that more fair. I won't go too crazy though, because Sanchez's numbers are pretty much the same as Crochet, so they're very similar. I think really the only reason why Crochet would have bigger value is just because he's a more bigger name right now. But I felt like that was a relatively fair trade at the time. So yeah, so Crochet won't debut for me this week. It will be Monday or Tuesday. And waiting on Rizarowski and Caballero. Who knows? So, but I had a fun week this week in fantasy, to say the least. Basically, a good transition here. My fantasy team was basically the Blue Jays against the Rockies. My goodness, loser team of the week might be loser team of the decade. Rockies allowed 45 runs in 3 games to Toronto. A team that, by the way, has lost 3 of their last 4 series. Toronto's not played that great. The Rockies are just this bad. The Rockies allowed an MLB record 63 hits in a series. I I can't even fathom what the heck, how you can even manage to do that. But what are your initial reactions to that? This is
Yeah,
insane.
absolutely insane. Should never happen. So I don't know what in the world was going on in that series. I understand you play in Colorado, but still, sheesh.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in Colorado, to be fair. So I guess the atmosphere is you're more due to hit home runs, but it's not like I said. It's not like Toronto's been raking overall. I think they're winning right now 4-3, but it's like, and I know so I said Vlad is hot, but Toronto hasn't been great in the last week and a half, so that's just inexcusable. But speaking of not being great, another loser team of the week. They've been our loser team of the week for like 19 times now. And I know it might be biased because we don't like them, but I mean, if you watch the way they've been playing, they've been horrible. The New York Yankees. My goodness, they're only 5 games. You know what? You type this. You type this. You read this off. You're the one that pulled this stat.
Yeah. So the Yankees have had the second worst record in the last month since, I guess maybe it's more than a month at this point. Since June 30th, they've had the worst record in baseball. Uh, or second worst record in baseball, only behind the Nationals, who have absolutely nothing to play for. The Nationals have won 15 games, and the Yankees have won 18. So not far behind.
Less than the Rockies,
The
who
the
just again
Yeah,
allowed 45 runs.
the
Unbelievable.
Yankees have now blown. It was a 3-4 game lead in the AL East going into the All Star break. They have now since blown that. They are no longer even uh, in the AL East race, in my opinion. And on top of that, they are in the last wild card spot and only a half game ahead of the Cleveland Guardians, who, remind you, traded people away at the deadline because they said, we're not going to super compete this year, so here we'll sell some guys. Stephen Kwan was on the not on the chopping block, but was on the trading block
Mm-hmm.
up until it closed because the Guardians were trying to figure out what they wanted to do. So, all of that to say, the Yankees are about to be out of a wild card spot, may not even make the playoffs, and they were leading their division for most of the
By
year.
multiple games, yeah.
The Boston Red Sox are now coming up on Toronto, which is absolutely insane because the Red Sox had a horrendous start to the year.
They were 43 and 45 right around the end of June,
Yeah,
as a reminder.
they have gotten hot and they have not cooled off, and they've been hot for a couple weeks now. So I don't know what that standings looks like, but the AL East is going to be a fun race, and it's not going to include the Yankees.
Yeah, unless if Judge can put in another gear once he gets back. I think he is back, but
Oh well, the
Yankees are
Rockies, not
disaster.
the Rockies. The Red Sox lost their series
They lost the
today.
series, yeah. They
That's
blew game 2.
But that is their
No,
first, I think, loss of a series for the second half.
Yeah, that's nuts. And the
which is
Padres aren't a bad
crazy.
team to lose to, so nothing to
Yeah,
be ashamed of.
the solid
Um,
squad.
yeah, the last point we got, I'm gonna skip that ESPN Red Zone deal since we're running a little long. Um, yeah, Cody Bellinger. Let me tell you, I can't wait to show you this. This is. I mean, if you want to sum up the New York Yankees, the last month and a half they've gone through. I'm gonna text this to my friend who's a Yankees fan here in a bit. Just watch this. So Cody Bellinger, left field right here. Oh crap! I don't want audio playing though. Sorry, I'm gonna mute that. So watch this. Watch this.
Yikes!
Oh, bro, threw it side. He technically threw it backwards. I know it slipped out
That's
of his hand, but
crazy.
oh my goodness. The y'all didn't see. He literally scooped the ball up, was trying to throw it to home because the runner was going home, which was ambitious. To be fair, because that ball was shallow. That was bold. But I guess they knew the Yankees' defense has just been out of this world bad rate lately, and it's just another example. Cody just chucks it, and it goes behind him and rolls to the right. I just, that's just tough. But at least with that, crap happens when you do something like that. I've thrown stuff and it slipped out of my hands before, so that's not. It's embarrassing, but I think we've seen worse plays out of the Yankees, like that one in right field that just got by the guy. Like that's routine. At least Bellinger was trying to get a ball home and he was rushing. Um, so he made an effort and he looked really bad. But regardless, the Yankees are a disaster. We love to see it, chat. Um, Besides, it's all about the Mets. We
Well,
know it's all about the
actually,
Mets.
talking about all about the Mets, they have the third worst record since June 30th. So,
That's true. They did lose like 7 or 8 in a row
um,
recently.
they're also not doing so
Unbelievable.
hot.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like Juan Soto didn't win either way. All right, so should have stayed a Yankee. I don't know. I think
Well,
they'd be better, but not much better,
um,
clearly. So
this is to show you how bad the Yankees defense is. Volpe has as many errors as he does home runs. That number is 17. Yeah, yeah. So,
Volpe is a bust.
so our third loser team of the week, Yankees
Anthony.
fans. Um, I'm
Yep,
sorry that you were having to deal with Aaron Boone. Um, I
that's true.
I
Yep.
think I texted you this last week when he was yelling at the first base coach when Austin Wells made the mistake on the base path, and I was like, "Why aren't you yelling at the player or talking to the player rather than yelling at the first base coach who has zero control and is yelling back the whole time?"
How
So,
does he have a job? And
so
he
I
has
don't understand.
dirt. He has to have dirt.
Well, also on top of that, Devin Williams is probably by far the worst reliever in the MLB this year. And hold on, not only once did he blow a game against Texas, he blew another game against Texas the next day, and Boone once again put him back in for another shot. But don't worry, Boone didn't learn his lesson the first two times. In game one against the Astros, he put him in the ninth inning, and he blew that one again. He literally got booed off the mound because he blew technically two games and
Unbelievable.
lost the third one, or the Rangers one. He blew one against the Rangers and then gave up the run that. Um,
He did come in a low leverage situation today and struck out the side, so maybe that could be a huge confidence boost for a guy that's just had
well,
an otherworldly disastrous year.
yeah, I
And
just mean more like why would you continue to put him in
no,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
situation
He should.
when you have
This
when
is
when
more on the manager.
yeah when your team went out and made a trade for one of them that is now in AAA. But
And but no, yeah,
when Camilo Duvall is out there and David Bednar, who are both Bednar is a great closer over in Pittsburgh. Camilo Duvall, before his injury this year, was a great closer out in San Fran. Was struggling a little bit this year, but if you look at his stats, you wouldn't know because the dude still had like a 1.7 ERA. Um, And I just don't understand why you put a guy that is constantly blowing a game for you rather than one of those guys when Bednar went an inning and 2/3 and threw 40 pitches and got you a save.
Yeah, it's just baffling. Aaron Boone needs to be fired. Yeah, congratulations. He hit you that one home run in the game 7 of the 2003 LCS. What happened next year, by the way, guys? I could give you 0 to 3 reasons as to why you don't want to be reminded of that. But yeah, Aaron Boone is so bad.
So
He
bad.
is debatably the worst manager in baseball right now. He's just, how do you watch a man blow 3 or 4 saves and then throw him on again and blow another one? I feel bad for Devin. He's clearly got some mental problems, on the mound right now. And you just need to shift him back to lower leverage situations and put Bednar in this spot or somebody else. You just traded for 3 relievers. Use one of them.
You also have
Stop.
Luke.
I
You
just
also have Luke Weaver who did it for you last year and is
Yeah, and
having still a
he
really solid year.
he's having another good year. Use Weaver. Anybody. Just, you got to find a way to get Williams' confidence back. Keeping him in the closer spot right now is not doing him any favors. And I don't think he should be a setup guy right now either. He should be a middle relief guy. Low leverage situation. Throw Devin in. Get him his confidence back, and then he can work his way back up. Because he's a beast. He's phenomenal in Milwaukee. It's just been a bad year. But Boone is he's horrible. He's horrible. I'm sorry, Yankee fans. That's the first time I've ever said that. And last. So clip it, chat. Clip it. But any last thoughts before we log out here?
Now that was it.
All right. Well, as another episode, chat, we will see you next week when we're both in Kansas City and get to dunk on the White Sox losing to the Royals. Knock on wood. Royals very easily could lose that game.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll see you all next time.